the outer duality that we confront, we saw yesterday, is an apparent reality, a dependent reality that depends on Brahman, Ishvara, consciousness, I, all say. And this is what needs to be understood and assimilated. There are, however, things in the way of this understanding. And that is expressed in the form of the inner duality. And some of the manifestations of the inner duality have to do with a weak alignment or no alignment between what is thought, what is said, and what is the action, how one acts, between speech, thought, and action. So this alignment is very much emphasized, that one has to have that what you think, that you can say, and your speech is in alignment with the thought. That doesn't mean whatever comes to the mind one should say, okay? That's not the idea. But we are talking of intentions here. When you have an intention, you say that, and then after that, there has to be a follow through. If there is no follow through, you know what happens is that there is a kind of a divide. There are feelings of guilt, there is hurt, there is some kind of a feeling, I shouldn't have done this, this was not the right thing to do, etc., etc. And so therefore this alignment is advised not only to have some relative shanti, peace in the world of day-to-day affairs, but also to prepare the heart for this knowledge. Because as long as this duality persists between the one who knows that what I'm saying is incorrect, is not true, but the one who says it anyway, there is a divide. And so that divide is something which is not inspiring one or people around oneself, even on the day-to-day level. And that is why that has to be corrected. So the inner duality between the knower and the doer. The knower knows this is not correct information, but I'm going to do this and say this anyway, because I want to mislead the other person. Why? Because I want whatever is there and I don't want them to have it, so I just mislead them. So like this, the more we are not in alignment, the less this knowledge will be interesting and the less it will speak to us. And so therefore this alignment is there, and it is in the form of the declaration we studied yesterday, Ritam Vachmi, Satyam Vachmi. I speak the truth, I act in alignment. This is one meaning. And the other meaning, which is related, is interesting, because you can say Ritam Vachmi and then the subject there is Aham. Now I am speaking the truth. Another way to look at it is that I declare you, Twam. I declare you to be Ritam. I declare you to be Satyam. I declare you to be the incarnation and the embodiment of truth, both the relative truth and the absolute truth. I declare you to be that formless, nameless, attributeless Ganapati, and also the one that has name, form, etc. The absolute and the relative are both talked about here. Very, very nice, both these interpretations. One is on the macro level, one is on the micro level. First, we discussed the micro level meaning, what is happening within. and how to heal that duality within in order to understand that this whole world of name and form is a non-dual reality. So therefore, we saw that. And then the second meaning, I declare you to be the embodiment of this reality and its varied and myriad manifestations in the form of various names, words and their meanings. And so this is the these are the two meanings for this sentence. Very, very nice. Then it's almost as though one realizes, one understands that this staying in alignment between speech, thought, action is easier said than done. It's easy to say that, but very difficult to do that. Why? Because there are obstacles, naturally. And what kind of obstacles are there? Karmic obstacles. Karmic obstacles, in the sense that there are certain tendencies that keep on repeating. I want to do the right thing, but I can't. This is what Duryodhana said in the Mahabharata. Because Lord Krishna had a talk with him. Don't go for this war, this is not a very nice thing that you're doing. Don't you know what dharma is? He said, Janami dharmam. I know dharma. Then why aren't you following it? I don't feel like it. Nachame pravrittihi. Perhaps you don't know wrongdoing. Perhaps you don't know adharma. Janami adharmam cha. I know adharma. I know what is wrong. Then nachame nivrittihi. I'm not free of wrongdoing. What to do? Kenapi devena hridisthitena yatha prayuktosmi tatha karomi. By some kind of a being situated in my heart, calls it Deva, more like more like the what should I say, a demon, Asura, not Deva. So by some force sitting in the heart, which is telling me, grab this, take their kingdom, and wreak upon them havoc, the Pandavas. I keep following whatever my heart tells me to. This is how I am. This is not going to work. And as a footnote, they say that Duryodhana, the baddie in the Mahabharata, the villain of the Mahabharata, wrote a book on dharma. Did you know that? He wrote a book on dharma. He wrote a book on dharma. Where is it? Well, it got eaten by goats. It was, we presume, because it's in the leaf manuscript, palm leaf manuscript. And they have to be very vigilant and it cannot be left unattended. And it got eaten. But why did Adi Shankaracharya's commentaries to the 10 Upanishads did not get eaten? Adi Shankaracharya's commentary to the Bhagavad Gita did not get eaten by goats. And Adi Shankaracharya's commentary to the Brahma Sutra does not get eaten by goats. Why only the goats to make a beeline for Duryodhana's treatise on dharma? Why? There is an ancient adage. When you begin a book, you have to have a prayer there. If there is no prayer, do not read a book. There is an injunction. Do not read a book that does not begin with a prayer. Duryodhana did not know how to pray. He only knew how to pray upon people's patience and people's situation. That's all he knew. He knew how to grab and all these things. And that's why Bhagavan made sure that the one who did not have alignment between speech, thought, and action had no business writing a book on dharma. And Bhagavan told the goats, do your job. Go there. Lunch is served. Finished. What he wrote, we don't know. And we don't want to know also. This is why this is it's easier said than done. It is very difficult to do, to have this rhythm and satyam in one's life. To invite that is easy, but then to practice that, there are many obstacles. One obstacle is adhyatmika. With example, Duryodhana. Adhyatmika means within the heart, within oneself. Then there is Adi Bhautika Pratibandhaha, also Pratibandha means obstacles. And what are the obstacles? From one's surroundings. One has been hanging out with people who are gossip mongers. For example, you don't want to gossip, but that's what the tendency has been in the past. The past, meaning before coming to the ashram, perhaps that was what one was surrounded by. And then what? You see these people, they say, let us hang out, whatever that means. And so, and then what? Let us hang out together. And not even 2 minutes have elapsed. And then they started to talk bad about somebody. And then somehow you felt that you had to join because of politeness. If this is politeness, I'd rather be impolite. This is what we have to think. So one somehow feels obligated or habituated to follow others in this non-alignment between thought, speech, action, all these things. So this is Adi Bhautika Pratibandhas, obstacles. Then there could also be Adi Daivika. Adi Daivika obstacles means through some karma, something like that. The mind is not focused. The moon, the natal moon is afflicted. And that's why if you take the horoscope, okay, yeah, to the so if you take the horoscope to the Pandit, what will the Pandit say? Where moonstone? And they will say how many carats of, how heavy that gem has to be, moonstone. And like this, they will say, oh, will it make it go away? Well, it will mitigate it. It will bring the focus back a little more. When there is focus, determination, there is alignment. So it could be karmic, daivik. So this is all there. And so it's not easy. There are so many obstacles. All it takes is one family visit to forget everything that was studied in the ashram. One weekend with the family, finished, gone. Yama, niyama, what is that? How do you spell that? It is all gone. And so therefore, the vigilance is necessary. And for this vigilance, there needs to be some help. I can't do it on my own. Oh, Ganesha, oh Lord, I can't do it on my own. And up till now, we have been seeing the vision. And now the Upanishad is going to go to the level of the bhakta, the helpless, hapless devotee, who means well, who has the best of intentions, who wants to change business as usual, who wants to walk on the spiritual path, who wants to narrow down the choices so that all these too many options don't take the person away from what really matters. This is what the person wants to do. But the mental strength is lacking. The courage is lacking. And one is perhaps a slave of other people's approval. One becomes an approval hog. I want other people to approve of me. And that happens only when I join them and do whatever they are doing when I do. Then they will validate me. And so therefore one gets into these habitual situations which are very difficult to overcome. Therefore what? I need to pray. And this is the next mantra. Avatvam mam avabhaktaram avashrotaram, avadataram, avadhataram, avanuchanam, avashishyam. This is ava means protect. Please help, protect me. In fact, the word ava, avati, rakshati. So ava means protect. It's an order to Bhagavan. Here we are so desperate that we forget to be polite even because we feel entitled to ask the grace of Lord Ganesha, the Lord of all beings. We say, I need your help now. It's an order. Ava. This is the imperative mood. Ava. You, hey, you, protect me. Protect me. Because who else will? Nobody else will. I feel myself sinking into all kinds of habitual patterns. I feel myself not in alignment with the truth, with my own truth. I feel myself alienated from this knowledge. I feel challenged from all sources. Protect me. Ava. Tvam mam ava. You protect me. There's no please, no begging, because here one feels a relationship of entitlement. Who else will protect? Nobody else can do that. It's your job. You better protect. And then this knowledge is teacher dependent. Without the teacher, how am I going to get the knowledge? So here there is a prayer for the teacher also. Vakta means the one who expounds the teachings. Vaktru, Vakta. So the one who teaches, expounds the teaching is called Vakta. Ava Vaktaram. Protect the teacher. Ava Dataram. Dataram means the same teacher who is in the form of the initiator into the mantras that are going to follow. There are certain mantras that are going to be given in this Upanishad, very beautiful mantras, we'll see. And so the initiator of the mantras, it can be the same as the teacher or it can be some other teacher, doesn't matter. Protect the one who initiates the students into the mantras. Protect that person, that teacher. Avadhataram. Dhataram means the one who protects the entire lineage, the student-teacher lineage, the one who is committed to the lineage, to be able to give of everything without holding it back. That is Dhataram, the one who protects this knowledge from falling into the wrong hands. At the end of every Upanishad, most of them anyway, it says, please do not give this to someone who does not follow dharma, who is not righteous. And then Ava Anuchanam. Anuchana is the one who repeats the Upanishad, just like you are repeating. So the people, so see, there are two kinds of repeaters. Here we are repeating it to savor the words and understand the words. That is why we are repeating it. And sometimes if you go to a Veda Pathashala, if you go to a Vedic school, there they repeat it in order to memorize it. So both the kinds of repeaters here, Anuchana. So these repeaters protect the people who commit this to memory. And when they commit it to memory, then it is not lost. Let even a herd of goats come, doesn't matter. It is not lost. It is very much there. In every head, Ganapati Upanishad resides. It is just so wonderful. So avashishyam, protect the one who is studying and learning about this Upanishad. Why? Because Without that, without the student, the lineage does not prosper. The student picks up everything, and we want the protection for the student. And we want the protection for the student. Why? Because the student is going to, after finishing the studies, become the next teacher in the lineage. That's how it works. So protect from what is not talked about, but from what comes before, we make this interpolation. Protect the speech, protect the thought, protect the actions. But then when we pray for the teacher, so here we are not saying let the teacher be in alignment. That's not the idea. The understanding is that the teacher is in alignment. Here we pray for the teacher to continue to teach. Let there not be a break in the teaching. That is where the teacher's the prayer for the teacher comes. Why might there be a break? The body of the teacher may have something wrong with it. Maybe the teacher needs to take some time off. Let that not happen. Let that not happen. We pray for the well-being of the body of the teacher. And then sometimes what happens is that because the students are not showing any interest, the teacher says, okay, why should I teach? Let me just sit quietly, because there is no interest there. That's also a valid decision, because if nobody is there to learn, why should I teach? And let me just sit quietly, do whatever I need to do. And so that also, may that not happen. May there be no impediment to the flow of the teaching. This is exactly the prayer here. And from the standpoint of the person who is receiving the Upanishad, there we pray for that student to be able to follow dharma easily, and to be able to follow whatever is there that needs to be followed. May the student be able to follow that. That is the prayer. Avapaschataat, avapurastaat, avottarattaat, avadakshinattaat, avachordhvataat, avadharattaat, sarvato mam pahi pahi samantat. And so, where can these obstacles come from? Whether they are obstacles attacking the body, mind, sense complex, or whether they are inner obstacles arising, bubbling up from within in the form of strong preferences, prejudices, etc. Whether they are impediments that are karmic, Adhidaivika. Adhidaivika means they are centered on forces beyond one's control. Or Adhibhautika, centered on forces connected to our surroundings. Adhyatmika, internal obstacles. Doesn't matter where the source is. Here, the Upanishad covers all the grounds. All the obstacles coming from the east. Bye-bye. Ava. Protect me from all the obstacles coming from the east. It could be some raging wild animal, or it could be somebody who's taking me, whose influence is taking me down the wrong path, from where it is difficult to extricate myself. Certain habits, certain tendencies, etc., in that form. And then we should not leave out after east, what comes? Thank you. So, west. Don't leave out the west. And from the West also certain things can come, because see, these directions, they have certain energies. There are certain energies in certain directions. They say that the Eastern energy is the energy of doing, because it's the rise of the sun and everything like that. So it is controlled by, the energies are controlled by Dig Devatas, the presiding deity of the directions, deities of the directions. So the Eastern energies have to do with, just activity, sunrise, all these things. The Western energies have to do with just relaxing, letting go, that kind of an energy. So like this. And the northern energy has to do with the yearning for liberation. And it is ruled by Prajapati. And then the southern energy is, the southern directional energies ruled by Lord Yama, the minion, the presiding deity of death. That's why in India, houses generally don't face west or south. Western facing house or southern facing house, nobody wants to buy. The Indian Vastu people, the Indian architects have to consult with the Vastu people. Otherwise, their house will not be sold. So like this, there are all the directional energies are there. And in balance, everything is needed. The energy of repose and the energy of activity. There is a nice, wonderful tension there, and that is needed. But out of balance, if the Eastern energies are interpreted in a way that is out of balance, then what happens? One keeps on doing in a very rajasic way all the time. Restlessness comes. And when the Western energies are out of balance in oneself, then again there is just procrastination. That kind of a thing can be there. So all these energies, so the cardinal directions, and then the non-cardinal directions. And then what else is left? Above and below. Protect from all the directions. Let nothing come. This is a very important mantra, this particular mantra, because as we chant this Upanishad, we want to create what is called Digbandhana. It's not just a general prayer for removal of obstacles, but it is an esoteric tying of an invisible thread of protection just by the articulation of this. Just by articulating this intention, there is what is called Digbandhana. It is done in every puja also. That we say that the articulation of this mantra, by the articulation of this mantra, there is a protective thread, a thread of continuity and protection surrounding the teaching situation, so that no obstacle can come in, no energies can come in from outside that do not belong. And all the things from within oneself that may be bubbling up that do not belong, they also just immediately they get to a place of repose. They also do not trouble. It is very easy to suspend them. So this particular mantra serves two purposes. So we pray for protection to be in alignment, and we also have an intention in the teaching situation itself, in the learning situation, so that no energy that does not belong, either from within or without, does not come and trouble us. That is why the word ava comes so many times. In fact, the word om is made up of ava plus a pratyaya, a suffix called manin. And so that is how the word om is formed. It's a source of protection. It's a name of the Lord in the form of a source of the energy of protection is there whenever the word Om is articulated. And so this is why the word Ava comes many times here. And so one has purified oneself from any kind of obstacles, from any direction, above, below, etc., etc. And so the mind is focused, the energy has changed. Then, then the Upanishad takes one more turn at describing for oneself, so that describing the reality. Again, so we talked about the vision of the Upanishad. We talked about what Ganapati is. And then Ganapati is that energy of all beings that can be categorized neatly. And the intelligence behind that, that is what is Ganapati, that knowledge, that infinite knowledge and intelligence that is manifest into many names and forms. That is what Ganapati is. And then now we go back to that level and talk a little more about the nature of this Ganapati from the standpoint of the reality, what this reality is. Tvam Vangmayaha, Tvam Chinmayaha, Tvam Anandamayaha. This is the next understanding. So here the prayer has become personal. Before it was just on a general level, but here the repeated use of the word Tvam, Tvam, Tvam. You are this, you are that, you are happiness incarnate, etc. And that means here a relationship is established. A relationship is established. So we are not talking about, here also there is a little bit of a confusion sometimes that can arise. So we have to be clear that we are not talking about about praying to Satchidananda Atma. We are not praying to that consciousness. We are praying to that consciousness embodied, equipped with the power to create, sustain, and take back, which we saw yesterday. So therefore, we are not praying to consciousness, but we are praying to consciousness resting in a being that is without name and form essentially. But here we are invoking that being as the truth of all names and all forms, and whose knowledge is behind every manifestation. We are invoking that being. So then who are you? Tvam Vangmayaha. You are in the form of words. This is very interesting. Nowhere do you see this very rarely you come across this Vangmayaha. So you are in the form of all kinds of words in all languages. We can take it that way. You are in the form of words in all languages. I mean, that itself is a huge compendium. Languages that have become extinct, nothing but manifestation of you. Languages that are protected by UNESCO. And that is also you. Rare languages, that is you. Everything is you. And we can take it that way. And additionally, one more meaning comes. The other meaning is that every object in this universe is made up of words. Pot, thought, hat, cat, mat, rat. All these are words. We use them every day. And these words have meaning. The meaning of the word is lit up as soon as I say the word. The meaning of the word is lit up in your head as soon as as soon as I finish articulating it. If I say pot, all kinds of favorite pots come in the come in the mind. Big pot, small pot, pot made of clay, pot made of silver, pot made of brass. So many pots, so little time. In fact, we have a whole compendium of earthenware in the mind. So many pots. Even before I finish articulating, so when I say flower, all we have a whole garden here. Everybody thinks of their favorite Ishta flower. Ishta means favorite, like Ishta Devata, Ishta flower. Everybody thinks of that. And then it is all the whole room becomes a meadow. All kinds of flowers, wild flowers, cultivated flowers, hybrid flowers, all kinds of things. And this is all the magic of names and forms, words and meaning. Every word has a meaning. And the meaning of every word is known. And even if you don't know, all it takes is Google. Yeah, immediately you can know. Even if you don't know what it is, you can immediately know. So, this whole universe is nothing but word and meaning. Table, word and meaning. Chair, word and meaning. Microphone, word which has a meaning. Clock, word and meaning. So many festive lights, word and meaning. This room where we are talking, word and meaning. Everything is word and meaning. Cushions that one is sitting on, word and meaning. Word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. The Chandogya Upanishad says, Vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. This whole entire world of names and forms is nothing but a words and their respective meanings. Whole thing is just word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning, word and meaning. Anything that you say is a word which has a meaning. That constitutes this Jagat, this universe that one takes so seriously. Nothing, it's reduced to words and meanings. And it is all dependent on speech. Vak alambanam or vak arambhanam. Doesn't matter. It begins with speech. The whole Jagat begins with speech, begins with words. The first word, they say, Lord Brahmaji, after creating, said, Om Atha. He articulated this word, these words. So, like this, all the words and all the meanings constitute this whole entire world. What does that mean? That means that the truth of the word and its meaning lies elsewhere. And that is Ganapati, we can say, or that is that Satchidananda, we can say. It lies with that Sat. It is dependent on Sat. Because that which is word and meaning, the word keeps changing. The meaning is finite. Whatever that is, that it reveals is finite. The revelatory power is with that consciousness which is naming these words and designating certain meanings to them. The revelatory power that I have the ability to name things, it's a very big thing. That I have the ability to understand the meaning, that again, that same awareness, that consciousness, that light of Atma, that consciousness alone amplifies that, reveals that, brings it to light, because every object in the universe except oneself has to be brought to light. It cannot reveal itself. Therefore, we use words and meanings. And then when we look at the words, the words are very interesting. because they just break down into letters, and the letters break down into sounds, and the sounds then go to the source of the sound. The sound resolves into space, one of the five elements. And space again is a, a manifestation of Ganapati, manifestation of Bhagavan. Space is a manifestation, time is a manifestation, five elements of which space is one of them, manifestation. So all these words and their meanings resolve into that Sat. In the form of Ganapati, you are that. You are the truth of all words and meanings. Without you, there are no words. The power to articulate comes from that awareness alone. The power to articulate is because of you. My ability to talk is because of you. My ability to express my thoughts is because of you. That's why I declare you to be the source of all words and meanings. You are the truth of all words and meanings. And the Kenopanishad also talks about this. Yad vacha anabhyutitam. So that which cannot be described by words, that which is not a meaning of a particular word, yena vag abhyudyate, but because of which speech becomes meaningful. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. Know that to be Brahman, know that to be this Satchidananda Atma, this reality that we are talking about. Nedam yadidam upasate. Not that which you put on a altar and worship. Here there is no worshipper worshipped divide, because what we are talking about transcends that worshipper worshipped relationship. Why does it transcend that? It transcends that because as the words become, I become aware of the words, I understand that I'm the Sakshi. Sakshi means the witness of those words. I also understand that when I talk, I am understood. I see that. When somebody else says something, those words are understood by me. Conversation is happening. Things are going as they are supposed to go without any kind of, with a lot of ease on my part. It's all set up. The whole world of language, words and meanings is set up there for me to have. And yet, the whole world of words and meanings come down, really, come down to the revealer of those words and meanings, which is the Atma, which is Brahman, which is Bhagavan here, seen as that which lights up all the words and meanings. So tvam vangmayaha, you can say. Or, and another meaning is there. Vangmayaha also means you are in the form of the words of the Upanishad that reveal to me the truth of myself. You are in the form of the words of that which show me the truth of myself. You are in the form of words like Sat, Chit, Ananda. You help me to understand the truth of myself because you are in the form of the words of the Veda. You are the means of knowledge personified. And that is how you help me to understand this. Tvam Chinmayaha. Next, first one, Vangmayaha. Next word, Chinmayaha. Chinmaya means, here the word, there is a suffix called mayat, that Vangmaya, Chinmaya, etc. And usually it means vikara. Vikara means modification of words, etc. Modification of chit. You can't say you can't use that meaning here. Modification means chit means that consciousness is that which can never be modified. And then if I say modification, that is a contradiction. So that meaning doesn't work here. So the common meaning doesn't work. Then there is another common meaning. What the word maya, the suffix maya means preponderance. So again, we cannot say preponderance of chit, meaning mostly chit and a little bit achit. Achit means jada. So this consciousness is mostly conscious and a little bit dead. You cannot say that. So therefore, that meaning also doesn't work. Here, the maya is a rarely used meaning of this suffix swarthe, meaning it is nothing but itself. Chinmaya, nothing but itself. It's not a vikara, it's not a modification of chit, it is not mostly chit and little bit jada, dead. No, lifeless, no. It is itself, it is incomparable to anything else. This consciousness, this awareness of oneself and of everything else is the only one of its kind. And you embody that. So it is a very interesting prayer of oneness. But why is the person saying you embody that? Because right now, the devotee cannot see that I also embody that. I cannot see. That's why I say you embody that. And you are the whole universe. And the whole universe includes me as well. And so therefore, slowly I come to the understanding that you embody that, so that I am non-separate from you. That understanding comes slowly. So for the meantime, I worship you as that the embodiment of chit, as the embodiment of that consciousness which is not outside of myself, in which my consciousness, my awareness is also included, so that there is a kind of an inclusion here. And this is a place for the ego, the ahankara, to rest. For that iteration of the I as a limited entity to rest in the knowledge that all this is chit alone. And you are that chit. So for the time being, I can stop complaining because I'm included in this. And that is itself a very big relief. It gives a lot of protection and it gives a lot of relief. How? We'll see that in the morning. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaga Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.